In this video, I show you how to zoom in and out in Shotcut.
Hi everyone, my name is Joe and welcome to Ubitronics. On this channel, I show you how to use open source software. Today, we're looking at zooming in and out in Shotcut. And the first thing to realize is that there are two main ways to zoom in and out. The first is a quick zoom, which is like jumping in and out of the video. And then there's a smooth zoom, which is smoothly zooming in and possibly panning around the video and then zooming back out. I'll demonstrate both of those now for you. And just so we're clear on the end results, here is a quick demo of what we're going to be doing. So zooming in and out, and then in and out. And that feature is quite commonly used in YouTube videos. I'm doing it in quick succession here, but you would probably do it every 10 to 15 seconds to try and hold viewers' attention. The second method is more of a smooth zoom, which goes in and then you can pan around if you wanted to. And then ultimately you usually want to zoom back out. And they're the two kind of methods that we'll be demonstrating right now. So method one basically consists of chopping your video up into small sections and then zooming in on the sections that you've chopped. So let me demonstrate. Let's imagine that we want to zoom in from when the hand into the video. I'm going to click this button here, which splits the video. And then I'm going to fast forward to the point where I want it to zoom into. Here we go. And now I'm going to cut again. What that gives me is one section of this video that I can now select. If I select that clip, then head up to filters and click on the plus. Under the video search, look for size, position and rotate tool. And from here, I'm able to zoom in on this particular video clip. So here, if I just zoom in, let's say 158, there we go, that'll do. Then it zoomed straight in. So now if I play that video clip, it comes up and it zooms in at the point I wanted to zoom in, out at the point where I wanted to zoom out. Now, that might be perfect for you. For me, I've zoomed in and I'm not really focused on the bit that's important. What I want to do is make sure that I focus in where the piece is landing. I do that by clicking and dragging center there and just coming up to where I want it to display. So now that zoom in looks something like that. Now, one helpful little hint here is if you had multiple zoom ins that you wanted to be exactly the same, what you can do is, I'm just going to cut this video up a little bit more just to demonstrate it. What you can do is you can select your original clip. Once you've selected your original clip, click on copy filters and then select the new clip and click on paste filters. What that's going to do is set all of these settings up exactly the same as your original. What that means is when you play it, it's going to zoom in and out, and also if you've moved the video at all, it will move it to that proper location that you want it to be at. You might find that helpful, you might not, but it's worth knowing that it's there, because if you're zooming in exactly the same location again and again and again throughout the video, then you might just want to copy and paste your filters in. Okay, so that's option one, the quick zoom, the jump in and out. Now, if we wanted to make it smoother, so you're actually panning around the video, let's demonstrate that now. First of all, I'm going to drag in a new video clip, demonstrate on. And if I play that, as you can see, it's quite a basic video. It's not really doing anything. It's got a small pan where it's following the bicycle, but apart from that, it's very kind of static. It's not really moving much. Now, to demonstrate this, there's a couple of ways to do it. I'm only going to show one way today. I'm going to show you the most versatile way. So if you learn just this method, you'll basically be able to do all of the features of zooming in Shotcut. It doesn't matter how complex you need it to get, it should be able to handle it by using this method. There are other alternatives, but I'm going to skip over them today just to show you the most involved method and the one that will facilitate basically everything that you need to do. That is using keyframes. So the very first thing we want to do is we don't need to cut the video clip at all, because we're going to be seamlessly moving from one zoom to another and making it look like it's one key flow. To create that flow, you first of all apply the same filter. Come up to here, make sure you've got your video clip selected, click the plus, and then type in size. Click on the size, position and rotate tool, and you come up with exactly the same options as before. Now what we want to do is leave all of these settings as is and click onto this keyframe here. Button here says keyframe on it, and what that's going to do is it's going to take you to the keyframe tab, and it's going to be on the size and position and rotate tool, and under here you've got an extra channel which is just for size and position. Okay, if that doesn't make much sense right now, don't worry about it, doesn't matter too much. We're going to go over each step. So the very first thing you probably notice is this kind of triangle shape here. That's actually a diamond, but because it's the very beginning frame, you can only see half of it. A diamond represents a linear fixed position. So if I right click on that, first of all, go to frame type, and it's selected as linear, what we actually want is this transition to be smooth. So we don't want it to be jolty and jagged. We want it to transition smoothly from one to another. So select the smooth option, and that will turn into a circle. All of our keyframes we're going to want to appear as a circle in this instance, but you're welcome to experiment with the view of both of them. They kind of do the same thing, but one's just but the linear is less smooth than the smooth option. Go figure. Okay, so what this keyframe here is doing is saying start in exactly the same position as the video starts. If you wanted to start zoomed in and then pan out, you would change these options here to start off the video by being zoomed in or in a different position or whatever you want. But to start off with on this demo, we're going to start off in the right position and then zoom in as the cyclist starts moving. So I'm going to select 2 seconds in on my timeline here, and that's going to move my timeline position to exactly 2 seconds. I'm going to click this little tool here, which is add keyframe at Playhead. And as you can see, it's mimicked the last one, so it's a circle again. If you haven't changed that to a circle, then this will show as like a diamond shape. And with this one selected in red, we want to change the zoom to be, let's say, 197.4. You can type in here and make it exact, or you can use the bar just to zoom in and out as you feel fit. Okay, so before we go too much further, let's just play that and see what it looks like. Now we've got a smooth zoom in on your video. That's great, but it zooms in at this point to somewhere that's probably not the desired effect. Having your keyframe selected here, you do need to make sure you've got it selected. Then you can move to wherever you may want that to zoom into. And also, if you've realized that the zoom isn't quite right after you've done that, you can still change the zoom as well. There to zoom in to exactly the right position. So now if we try that once more, it zooms in on the wheel, which is our desired effect. Now, as you can see, as the video plays on, the wheel is no longer in the center. Let's imagine that we wanted that wheel in the center the whole time up until this point. Let's create a new keyframe and then reposition. If you need help understanding where the center is, you can click on this tool here and it will show you exactly where. I'm only doing this as an example, so it doesn't matter if it's not exact, but just clicking here on this grid will show or hide the grid for you, and it will give you the center spot. Okay, so now let's zoom back out and play that. And now the wheel stays pretty much in the center the whole time. So now let's imagine we're wanting to zoom back out towards the end of the video. Let's create another keyframe, and you can reset this to 100. When you do that, you're going to notice that this is all gone skew whiff. That's absolutely fine. You can click on these options here, and that will reset all of the settings so you zoom back out and have exactly as you imagine. So now, if we play the whole video through, zoom in on the wheel, it's going to follow the wheel, then it's going to start zooming back out up to the end of the video. So when you start working with keyframes, it can get quite complicated. And the biggest tip that I want to give you just on this video is that wherever your timeline marker is where you're going to be creating keyframes. So let's say my video, I've got my marker here and I change this to something like that. It's going to create a new position marker. Now that is going to change the look and feel of what happens. Okay, so if you've accidentally created extra markers and you don't mean to, then it's very easy to do. You just have to click on this delete button here. The way to edit a marker is to click on it first, and then if you change any of this, all it's going to do is edit this keyframe. It's not going to keep on changing things and making it do distorted things that you're not expecting. So I hope that's been helpful. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.